Hey,
Wow.
you sound a little tinny.
I do?
Yeah.
I'm talking to Joe.
Hey, Lise.
Just as high. I sound tinny. Hold on.
And it's almost like it's a room mic, not your actual mic.
Oh, okay, interesting. Yep.
How about now?
Yeah.
Fresh. Fresh.
Let's see. Am I coming in hot? Am I good?
You sound great.
Okay.
Look at
That's
this
rare.
food Lisa made.
Nice. Is that a frisee?
No. It's like
Avocado?
like an egg scramble, avocado. What's the leeks kind of thing? Scallions.
Mm-hmm.
I figured like the
we
viewers, the
We haven't
listeners.
podcasted in a while, so
So why not break the rules and eat? You know,
Um,
the listeners would appreciate us.
so I haven't been looking at the news lately. I've been out of town for the past
Mhm.
month. Have I missed anything?
Shane Dawson is canceled.
Who's that?
I didn't know until today. It's just another guy doing whiteface. Blackface.
I've done whiteface. Every time I go to the beach, I put too much sunblock on my face. It gets in my eye.
What kind of privilege is it that I called it whiteface first?
It's a black privilege, I think.
That's interesting. I've never actually heard that phrase.
I'm sure it exists. Like there's certain I couldn't go. Let's not get into it, but I'm sure it
Careful.
exists.
Careful.
What else is going on? I have a drink here.
I just poured a little into my LaCroix.
Do you have a tincture or do you have a?
No,
booze?
tequila.
Okay, I made it's rum, both light and dark rum. Sweet vermouth, and just a bunch of lime juice and orange bitters.
That's always a thing, right? Light and dark rum. Like that, there's a lot of cocktails that you use both.
Yeah, there's a difference in the taste.
Yeah, no, I think it's fun. Any kind of cocktail that has like too much booze is always really fun.
yeah. I think hopefully the lime juice balances it out, and the giant ice cube I put in there.
Yeah. You mean the ice cube that like takes a really long time to melt?
That's the one.
Of course. My brother's calling me. Tomorrow's his birthday. Well, he also just hung up, so
I saw
Problem
pictures
solved.
of him in like the Guardian or something on the beach.
Recently?
It just pops up on my phone sometimes, like quote unquote news, and it was him surfing. It's so funny.
You look good?
Yeah, it looked good. It kept talking about how he's like a surf hunk. That was like all the little
great.
captions.
Oh, that's a good one. It's true.
Yeah. Can't wait to get him on this podcast one day.
What are the
Maybe we'll-
updates that we haven't like given
Well,
the listeners?
it's interesting. So we kind of like accidentally took a week off because of Memorial Day. You were out of town, and we're just like, you know what? I don't think anyone's listening to podcasts anyway. Let's just give ourselves a little break here. And then, there was sort of a watershed moment, I guess, in our country, and it's good. It's good that people have had like time to be home, and you can't you can't look away. You can't go to work and stuff, and like ignore what's going on. What's going on?
Lisa's like decided to take this time to scrape the pan that has like eggs
Well,
on it.
She's got to do it, otherwise it's
just-
gonna stick.
It fits. It's a fitting tribute to what you're talking about.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So you can't look away, basically. So I think we figured we would use this time as a vacation. Just kidding.
Yeah, I don't know. I felt like I really did feel like I didn't have a lot to. I had things to say, but I didn't feel like it was the right time for me to say anything. I mean, aside from the 2 weeks of kind of like laziness, but then after George Floyd was murdered, like there was just, and I mean, there's been so much senseless brutality, but I just felt like there wasn't really something that in terms of what this podcast is, I didn't have something to be like to say aside
I don't
from.
think we were in the mindset for it either.
Yeah. That's a big thing. So, and then on top of that, just like it just kind of was nice to take a little summer vacation.
Yeah.
You know.
Exactly.
I realized
we're
I put
back.
this on to cover up my shirt, which is a Harambe shirt that we all bought at the writer's room. It just feels like a weird thing to wear.
Is it why? What are you trying to say? What's wrong with Harambe?
Well, I mean, like, when we're talking about causes, and then I have a shirt that, commemorates Dicks Out for Harambe.
Man, that was wild. I love all those memes. There was one of him like there's one that's like it says like the perfect storm doesn't exist, and then like it gets cut off. It says like the perfect storm doesn't exist, and then it gets cut off, and you see it's like a weather like radar, but it's Harambe's face.
Wow,
it's so funny.
It is. I go back and forth with how I feel about the internet.
It's terrible. But it's not. It's kind of like the great equalizer, for better or for worse. I think it's created a lot of fucking problems, probably more bad than good, but it allows people the opportunity to kind of do their own research. And sometimes that's not always the right research, but, at least we're not completely, like dependent on some kind of main source of information.
Well, the thing I've been thinking about a lot recently is like how if you want to find something, it's there. You know what I mean? And that's a problem. Like if you want to find someone like something that backs up that like, COVID doesn't exist or something. If you search enough, you'll find someone who said it, who's like quote unquote a source. And so that's always a problem. And then the other problem is like, it's all. It doesn't matter whether it's helpful or not. It's just like every website just wants as many clicks and people spending their time on the website. So that's a flawed system. And then on top of that, like, your algorithm of your own social media is just going to regurgitate what you already liked. So it's going to feed you more of the thing that you like or the thing that you had liked previously.
Yeah, that's a big problem, that kind of bias.
Oh my God. Yeah, it sucks. So I've been thinking about, getting off the stuff, getting off all of it. What do you think?
Oh yeah. Hell yeah.
I'm having this podcast.
I'm trying to limit you mean the podcast itself is a good way to get off of it?
No, I'm saying switch this last kind of month we've done. It was like I think I was on my phone too much, and I don't know if it really made me a better person.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I'm like, did I just lay on my couch for an hour looking at my phone? Like, did I just do that? And I have a computer. I could also do the same thing on my computer.
Oh, I know.
It's so weird.
By the way, my office is like this extra room is cluttered because I just decided to like change up the whole thing, and I had moved this little like keyboard over this side, and then like I'm figuring out now it's kind of going back to exactly the way it was, but just getting rid of a bunch of shit.
Yeah, sometimes you can't really change the layout of a room.
Yeah, I think we nailed it the first time in terms of where things are, but now it's just like it got like all cluttered up. And
so I wasn't judging until just now.
Okay. What else?
So much has changed. So much has changed. Yeah,
I'm 35 now.
Yeah,
big things.
We didn't get to hang out for the first time. It was a bummer.
I was 34 the last time we recorded.
Yeah,
it seems like a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm 35 now. I cut my hair short.
Mm-hmm. Mine's growing. I hope that we're supposed to take like wedding photos, engagement photos, and I don't want to cut it, but I feel like I might have to.
Yeah. Are you hearing all this? Should I close the door? Are you hearing like?
I don't hate it. It's
kind
of comforting for me. Like domestic noises comfort me.
Okay, good. I hope everyone feels that way.
Yeah.
I hope all of our listeners feel that way.
Yeah. Just pretend your mom's in the kitchen like cleaning up or something. I always find that kind of soothing personally.
Oh, completely.
It's homey.
There's little things that are just like pure Americana.
Yeah.
A good burp.
Yeah.
The clang clang.
She's doing ASMR for me right now.
Oh.
I hope she realizes that.
There is a real reason why we're podcasting.
I guess so. It's funny because we probably won't podcast again for a while because of this reason.
Well, I actually have a plan that we'll get to.
Okay.
So, I wish we had recorded our first conversation when you called me. It was like 1 a.m. or something like that.
Yeah.
I wish we had recorded that conversation because it was one of our best. It was one of my favorite.
Yeah, it was nice.
Conversation. We had been like talking on and off. You know what I mean? It's not like we were really trying to distance from each other.
But I certainly felt like we just hadn't communicated in a while at length.
But we had gone to a protest together, and we we stay in touch with the Marco Polo. But yeah, we haven't had like a sit down hour talk. But then you called me.
Down.
Yeah, with the family. And then you called me and told me this job offer you got.
Yeah.
And I would love for you to tell our listeners.
I got a text from our friend Jake Van Wagner. He is a Mormon fella that we've done some live shows with. He used to write for Jokers with us. And he's since done a lot of like production work. He's done a bunch of movies. He did a movie with Murray that he like wrote. Murray was like kind of a guest star in it. And
he could do everything. He could direct, he could edit, he could like line produce, he can act.
He's a go-getter.
Writer.
He's funny, man. He's great. So he sent me a text that was like, "Hey, do you want to do something insane? Do you want to drive Paul Schrader to Mississippi from New York and back and be his on-set director for 2 weeks?" And Paul Schrader, if you don't know, which he's kind of underappreciated as far as like screenwriter directors go. He's like a director's director, the same way you would have a comedian's comedian, and he's like a writer's writer. So he wrote Raging Bull and Taxi Driver.
I mean, Taxi Drivers, they're both like classics. I've never seen
Bull
Durham. Was it
Raging Bull?
Raging Bull. Bull Durham.
Raging Bull Durham.
I
watched that, by the way. That's a great movie, Bull Durham.
Oh yeah, it is.
Big recommendation. Yeah.
Where does it sit in baseball movies?
It is closer to. What do you mean? What does it sit?
It might make the top 20, but not the top 10.
I think it's top 5.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, come on. Hold on. You got Sandlot. You got
I don't know that I would put Sandlot up there.
A League of Their Own?
Maybe. I have to watch that. I haven't seen that in a long time.
Field of Dreams?
Yeah.
Major League?
Yeah.
Is that in your top 5, those?
Yeah. And like I just saw The Natural for the first time. I did a double feature of The Natural and Bull Durham in the same day, and they're both wildly different. The Natural is like really sweet and like it's very maudlin. Like it's good, but I could see like it being a little cloying too.
What about Funky Butt Loving, Rookie of the Year?
I don't think that's a great movie.
I know.
Okay. Well, Bull Durham's great because it's also like they're like AAA. They're like a minor league team. Right. And it's just good. It's just well written. It was nominated for best screenplay, and I think it deserves it.
Does basketball make it into as a basketball movie, or as a baseball movie, or neither?
I think you got to give it to hockey.
Yeah, it needs it. You got Goon. What else you got for hockey? Mighty Ducks. Mighty Ducks.
Slapshot might be the best sports movie.
Slapshot. Really? I think League of Their Own could be the best movie of all time. Like the best sports movie.
I mean, just Slapshot is so fucking funny.
I don't know though, because here's my pitch for A League of Their Own. You got historical context. You got like this underdog sport like world, which is like female baseball. You got Tom Hanks. End of list. That's all you need.
And Madone, isn't it?
Oh yeah, Madone.
That's Madonna for you non-usses. So, well, it's interesting about Slapshot. It's surprising, given how raunchy it is, that it was written by a woman, and I think that's kind of why some of the stuff there's like a lot of heart to it, and it's got some of the best written female characters I've seen in a sports movie. I mean, that's one of the reasons that Bull Durham is great too. Susan Sarandon is like a really well-written character.
You know what I always question sometimes though, when someone when someone's attributed to something, like I'm not trying to take anything away from it, but just something to keep in mind is movies change so much when it goes into like a director's hands, and there's always like rewrites, and sometimes other people rewrite stuff. Like I don't know how out there it is, but Colin, I think I told you, Colin rewrote the Sonic movie,
right?
And he literally rewrote all of Sonic's lines. He punched up the entire movie.
I know, it's pretty wild.
Yeah, and apparently like people really liked Sonic's delivery in it and Sonic's like point of view and lines. And I was like, and not everyone really. I don't know if everyone's allowed to know that, but it's just kind of an interesting thing. And see, like that's how much a movie and he's not credited. I mean, he probably got paid like handsomely, but he's not like a credited.
The way it works with like writing credit is like you have to be able to prove that you contributed, I think, more than 60% of like the plot of the movie. If the characters' names and like the incidents that occur, if you're the one that created it, it doesn't matter who else comes in and punches stuff up. And the writer for Slapshot based it all her brother was a minor league hockey player, and like he shared a lot of stories with her, and um, I think it does show that it was written by a woman, like I said, because the female characters are like great in it, and,
Oh, yeah.
and not that that's unusual for the time, but like you can tell when a guy tries to write a female character, it's like it's not always on. Yeah, exactly. She walks around holding her
she's
breasts
like
all
holding
the
her
time
breast, being like,
because they're so big.
I need a lollipop.
Yeah,
It's like
exactly.
insane.
Which in my experience is how a lot of women are, but I know they're like inside.
At least Allie and Lisa.
Yeah. So anyway, I recommend Slapshot if you haven't seen it, and Bull Durham. And what I like is that they're so irreverent, but there's also like heart to them.
And this guy that you're talking about did not write these movies.
No, he did not.
What a tangent.
He was like part of that golden age of Hollywood, like with Martin Scorsese and Francis Ford Coppola.
So he's friends with them.
Yeah, I mean,
is Francis Ford Coppola alive?
Yeah, and he's mostly into making wine now. He makes good wine.
I thought it was Sophia Coppola who does that, or she makes movies now and he makes wine.
He makes wine. Yeah, they switched.
Okay.
But Marty Scorsese. I'm gonna call him Marty now since I'm.
Oh my God! You know what else you have to do?
What?
You have to become such friends with this guy that you guys are together known as Schrader Joes.
I'll pitch that.
First conversation, you should drop that. You'd be like, Schrader Joe. We should call ourselves Schrader Joes. And
I'm gonna go for it. Yeah, I know. So Marty is my buddy Marty is executive producing the movie. He's like friends with him and everything. They're like close.
Do you think you'll get to meet Marty on set?
No, I don't think so. I don't think Marty's gonna go to Biloxi, Mississippi
during a pandemic.
So this whole thing, the only reason this is happening is because the pandemic caused the movie to halt production with only 5 days of shoots left.
Yikes.
So it's really just like 90% of it is done. Oscar Isaac is in it. Tiffany Haddish, Ty Sheridan, who's the main kid in Ready Player One, and Willem Dafoe. And
wow, what a cast!
Yeah.
That's all over the place.
Willem Dafoe is done. Like they already filmed the scenes. The movie's called The Card Counter. And I read the script. It's pretty cool. And it'll be interesting to see how it comes out.
But the fact that like those three actors, I wouldn't think to be in a movie together.
I know, it's pretty wild. But that's
I love Willem Dafoe.
Like actors will drop what they're doing to work with Paul Schrader. Like
wow.
He also did a movie in 2013 written by Bret Easton Ellis, who wrote American Psycho and Rules of Attraction, like the books, called The Canyon, starring Lindsay Lohan and the porn actor James Dean.
Okay.
And that one was like, I guess, kind of panned, and I think a lot of it was kind of an all over the place movie, but it was a really interesting approach to how they did it. They auditioned actors basically like through a website and stuff. It was like super low budget. He's kind of still like got that indie mentality, even though he's got like higher production value,
Yeah.
So
I mean, I can see that. He's
yeah,
he's that era that's like, I have so much money, but I'm indie. You know what I mean? Which just seems.
I mean, me and him are both staying at like a Quality Inn.
Oh.
It looks like, actually, though, I looked at pictures of it. It does look like a Quality Inn. Like
an inn, as in like a hotel. Yeah. It seems quality.
No, it looks big. It's right over the Mississippi River.
Do you hear all this? Right.
I think it's great. I love it.
Okay, it's good. Okay.
You hear the dog barking in my background? It's like we're home.
Before we were podcasting, Lisa was doing this most silent yoga you could ever imagine, and now it's Susie Homemaker over here.
Yeah, I know. So basically my job is to be his assistant and just hover around him at all times for 2 weeks and just like make sure. And he seems kind of grumpy, like I've been watching videos of him and he's doing that thing that old men do because he's in his 70s where, you know what I mean? They're just like always gumming.
Wait.
Always gum in their mouths.
Wow. He's that old?
No, I just think he just has that mannerism.
I attribute that to like really old people. And like my parents are pretty close to like their 70s, and Lisa's parents are in their 70s. I shouldn't say that, but
now I can hack into your computer because I know that.
I mean, they're at the age where they're very easily hackable, I'm sure.
I doubt it.
But no, I'm kidding. But they don't do that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm watching this master class that he did on YouTube, and he ate like peanuts before. before
no.
speaking, and he keeps like picking the peanuts out of his mouth and like drinking water, and it's just like he's just all over the place. I don't know. He seems like he's gonna be.
You
a
have a
real
masterclass
character.
like subscription or whatever?
No, it's on YouTube. It's like
Oh.
it's like an hour and a half masterclass with him.
Oh, it's not like the masterclass thing. It's just a masterclass.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
now that's like I saw like Tony Hawk is doing a masterclass for skateboarding.
I can't wait till we get asked to do one.
What would yours be?
I think it would just be about like saying yes to things.
I mean, yeah, after this, yeah, you could definitely
Well, that's
teach
like,
that.
look, I mean, what does this job really do for me? I don't know. You
Okay.
know, like it's not like
So
I'm
I'll
not-
tell you, yeah, I'll tell you from my perspective
Right.
and how much I love it. So you call me, it's the middle of the night, and you go, hey, okay, so Jake asked me to do this thing, and first of all, let me start by saying that 2 people have already said no to it, and I have to drive a 70-something-year-old man down to Mississippi.
now that's the biggest barrier because that's a 20-hour drive.
Right. And then immediately I was like, no, that sounds crazy. And then I was like, how long is it? And you were like 2 weeks. And I was like, absolutely do it. That is, I don't know why it makes a difference. I think 3 weeks I might have been like, I don't know.
I wouldn't have done it.
2
for 3
weeks? 2 weeks is that's an incredible experience.
It's bearable, and it's also like sort of parallel to where I was at a year ago when I was in LA shooting the Joker's thing. We were there for 12 days. About like this is just like, look, I've been like, we've all been indoors this whole year. You know what I mean? Like, this is just an opportunity to like have a little adventure.
It's crazy.
I'm a real adventure hound. You know, like I don't know that I don't know that this will be an adventure, but it's gonna be me on a real movie set. Tiffany Haddish. I've never met her before. Oscar Isaac. Never
You
met
should
him.
tell her the story about when we were at Swizz's birthday party. Swizz
Well, I
Beats'
wasn't
birthday
there.
party. Well, I'm saying we as in like my improv group that did improv, and she got up on stage and was basically like, Saif, what are you doing? Like kind of unintentionally roasted us.
I forgot about that, but I'll say, do you remember that party? Yeah, that's a
You
good
should
point.
say, like, do you remember Swizz Beats'? You could pretend you were there. Do you remember Swizz Beats' birthday party? Cypher Sounds and a group of people, including my white friend Casey, did improv.
Yes, big time.
That's a good in.
Yes, yeah. I asked Sal if he knew her, and he doesn't really. So, but I think she does know the show. So
I met her afterward, and she was really nice. She came up and like kind of roasted us, but just by being like, "What is going on?" And
it's
she
not
was
your fault. You were asked to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, she was like, I'll join in and do some scenes, like improv scenes. And then she stood on the back line as we started another one. It was just like, you guys are on your own, and like left. Like the crowd was just talking. People were literally smoking cigars in like an event space. There was a DJ like kind of like testing out audio. The whole thing was insane.
It's an insane request.
Swizz was literally like, please stop doing this. It was great.
It was for him.
It was for his birthday. Alicia Keys had asked Saif to bring his improv team because they had seen us do improv at like an actual comedy improv venue.
Yeah, where people are going to see comedy, not going to celebrate Swizz Beats' birthday.
Yeah, and it was like a good show, and they were like, "This is," and I actually didn't even do that show, the one that they had seen. I wasn't on the team yet, but they were also like, "Oh, we should we should give Saif money to produce this as a television show." And I think they made some version of a pilot, but it never went.
I think it was on Tidal, wasn't it?
Well, we did a different thing on Tidal. That was something else that with like Monster Energy drink that Saif sold that we did some shows for. That was fun. That was like the first time I got them at Wyclef and Black Thought.
Thank you for reminding me, though. I that's a good just conversation starter with Haddish. What's interesting about this? Thank God for the eyebrow, because otherwise I think I'm gonna have to wear a mask the whole time, and it's just like hard to like connect with people.
Wow, you're lucky.
Faces. You know what I mean?
Wow. Yeah, the eyebrow comes in handy again.
Jake wrote an introductory email, like introducing me to Paul, and he was like, "I just have to warn you, one of his eyebrows is white and one of them is normal." Like that's how he closed the email.
That's so funny.
And his email, Jake's was like, he's very funny, and it was like interspersed with jokes. But he told me, "Don't start off joking just yet. You got to ease into it because I guess he's kind of like a serious guy. I don't know.
I know, but Joe, I mean, you can't help yourself sometimes.
I don't think I'm gonna be able to help myself, and that's fine. But just in terms of emailing, I think I'm just gonna like.
I know, but here's the other thing: is like the stakes are so low,
big time, yeah.
That like you can't fail. If you get fired, it means you did
Still
something
a good
funny.
Story. I know.
Yeah, I think that's fun.
Yeah, and like the pay is like it's okay. It's better than
it's
if
bad.
I was sitting at home. Yeah.
I mean, it's okay because it's like you have otherwise your alternative is $0. But that's what's funny also. It's like that was another part of it that I loved. I said this to you on the phone. I
Yeah.
was like, if it paid really well, I'd be like bummed about it. It's the fact that it's such a on paper bad job that makes it an adventure.
Yeah.
Like if everything is stacked up against it to be like, no, don't do this. But there's enough that's so weird that you're like, I have to see this through.
The pay's not terrible, but I
No,
think
no.
if I didn't have to drive, the pay would be fine. But that drive is a real stinker.
Yeah.
Like I
You're-
wouldn't, you know.
Yeah, you're getting less than like an Uber driver would.
But also, like I'm gonna get, you know, I don't have to no expenses. Basically, it's all gonna be,
Yeah.
I assume, covered and expensed.
It better be, yeah. Or
Um,
you know, definitely keep all your receipts and just submit them no matter what.
Exactly, and they can go through them. But so it's really kind of like, as far as financially goes, it's like it's better than I'm gonna do if
Yeah.
I'm just sitting at home.
Oh, big time.
And it should, you know, it should be. I had to get coronavirus tested like
Mhm.
real last minute, and you know, here's a spoiler alert.
Okay.
If you're a listener and you were planning to get tested for the virus, and you don't want to know what the experience is like, don't listen right now.
This is so fascinating to me.
I wish I didn't. I'm glad I didn't know what to expect.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I'm glad I didn't know.
Hold on. I actually do want to talk about this because it's a real switch for us.
What do you mean?
Like, because all right, so you really hated the test.
Yeah, I didn't like it. Now,
How is this possible that I was like, yeah, it's fine?
Well, describe what you went through. How was the
Okay.
test?
So they take a, how can I describe it? You know, the thing that wraps up your like a cable that it comes with, like a little plastic thing, like that's like this long,
And you can, like, it's like really thin, and you can it's malleable.
really thin. But it's actually, the thing is like a little bit. Here's a good example. Ready? You know, the plastic toothpick that comes in a Swiss Army knife.
Yeah.
That material. Imagine that longer.
Yeah.
They stick that in your nose for 10 seconds. And when I heard about this, I was like, I don't want to do it. I don't even want to know. I don't care. I don't have symptoms. If I did have symptoms, then I know I have COVID. Then why do I need to do this? I was so afraid of this test. And then we went. Lisa went first. They put it up her nose, and they went out, and Lisa was like, okay. And she was like, what do you mean, okay? She was like, don't you do the other one too? The other nostril?
The other
And
nose.
she was like, no. And she was like, oh,
they used
my
to.
God.
I think they stopped doing that, but they used to. Yes.
So then it was my turn, and she seemed completely fine. And they did it to me, and I was like, it's that feeling of, for me, afterward, I was like, oh, that's really not that bad. I thought I was going to get like nauseous. It's that feeling of like when you have a sinus headache for a second. And then, but like, or if you're ever be in a plane and your sinuses are bothering you and you have that headache, it's like maybe, I don't even want to say it's a full 10 seconds of that, because when it first goes in, you're like, what the hell? And then it's like 8 seconds of it. And then when it comes out, you're like, ooh, that felt so much better coming out.
Did you bleed at all? Did you feel like blood in your post-nasal drip?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. All right. So here's my experience.
Okay.
Now, it sounds like the person that did it to you had done it before.
He's a doctor, yes.
The person that did it to me, it was her first time. And
oh no, I'm sorry.
so the device that they used, I mean, it's got basically like sandpaper or barbs at the end of it, and she jammed it up there and started spinning it around, twirling it to gather tissues samples from basically like close to my brain. And she twirled it, and I felt it scraping against my tissues. And she counted slowly backwards from 10. I don't know what's better, forwards or backwards from 10. It felt like a long 10 seconds.
Oh, but I think forwards is better, because backwards feels like it's at like blast off. It's going to be something bad.
So
you know what I mean?
backwards,
It's like a bomb going off.
If psychologically that's worse, then she counted the worst way. And it was her first time, and she twirled it around in circles, like scraping tissue from inside of my skull.
Wow.
So that wasn't very comfortable for me. And I have a high pain threshold, particularly when it comes to medical
Brain
procedures.
stuff.
Yeah, sure. I'm just able to like kind of like rationally like transcend the pain. I'm like, okay, this is just a procedure. It'll be done. I can like handle that. I know what it is. In fact, most of the time I'll watch when I'm being like pricked in some way, you know. Jake also sent me a take-home test, because I don't know if I'm probably not going to get the results until like I'm halfway to Mississippi with this guy. And he sent me like, somehow he acquired like, or his production. I don't know who. They acquired like an instant test.
Probably the LDS Church.
Yeah, because it came from Utah. So he mailed it to me from Utah. And he was able to convince his producers to let me take it because Allie's a nurse and she could be the one to administer it.
Hmm.
And it
Wow.
involves drawing blood. And
How is that?
Allie didn't. I told her like to bring saline solution because I read the instructions, like because you need to use like a little bit of a saline drip for the process to work to create like the solution. It's basically like a pregnancy test with blood. You know, you put drops of blood in it and like 2 drops of saline solution, and then that mixture like kind of pushes using a capillary action. It pushes up the blood and whatever the antibody test is, it like up this strip, and that's how it works. It's the same way you might use like a paper towel. If you just put it on a surface, it sucks up water without you having to move it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So, but what we both didn't realize is you need a lancet, which is like some kind of like small plastic thing with a metal tip that you're able to just like click, and it very quickly goes boop and like draws blood. So she didn't have one of those. So we tried to use like a push pin, but that was too dull. So like it really hurt my finger. Then sometimes she comes home with like spare like parts in her pockets that she forgets about. So she had like an IV cannula, which is like the needle that you use to. So she used that to like break the skin, and it was just like jabbing an extremely sharp needle deep into my finger. And so,
this makes this job
suffered.
even funnier. This makes like the fact that you have to go through all this for this stupid job.
I've suffered so much.
Oh my God, that is so funny.
I know. It's all part of the adventure, man. I know what I'm getting into, and I know that like I'm signing up for something that's gonna hurt. But I've always taken the long way around things. I don't know. Like for years, I lived in Staten Island and like still commuted to like go to events and shows and stuff. Like I don't mind the journey most of the time. Although I've come quickly to enjoy convenience. I bled, but I passed that test in terms of I didn't show any antibodies, so it looks like I'm good.
Yeah, that's all
based on that.
Very confusing stuff to me, because apparently antibodies are good, but if you have them, you might be sick. But if you don't have them, you might be sick because they haven't registered yet.
Yeah, they're neither good nor bad. They just exist, and they're an indicator that you can use to infer your condition. Since I don't show them, it means that I probably haven't recently at least had any kind of COVID infection that my body would be in the process of fighting.
Okay.
It's possible that like between, yesterday and today I contracted. I doubt it though,
Yeah.
I'm convinced that this virus is like, there's some factor, maybe a genetic factor or like a blood type factor that we don't know about that like causes more people to be susceptible to it and others not at all.
So Kelton was diagnosed with positive. Our good friend Mike Kelton, who's been on the
previous
podcast,
guest, yeah,
and he was really sick. This was before I think even he was on the podcast. Like when it first started, like that first week,
I'm surprised he didn't mention it.
Working and stuff. I mean, he got over it, but like it took him a while. And he said like he had every single type of symptom that they have. Shortness of breath, like it was stomach problems. It was like poop problems. It was chest problems. It was like the worst flu, achy. And his boyfriend did not get it. And he's he's B positive, of course, blood type.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also B, yeah, because he's B positive.
Oh, Mike Kelton is B positive.
Yeah.
And you
so
are too. So
yes.
you figured if it was a blood type thing, you think you would have had it by now.
Or or if I've been around it, I don't know. I'm not sure. But
so maybe, yeah. I mean, we can't generalize from that. We don't have enough of a sample size to know.
Never generalize.
Yeah.
That's bad. You run into trouble when you generalize.
Yeah, I guess so. I think it depends on what you're generalizing.
Yeah, but I think a lot of people are getting here. So all right. New topics, but related. I've been watching Friday Night Lights.
I started it. I thought it was great. I never
oh my God, I love it. It's already like one of my favorite shows of all time.
Yeah. Coach Taylor, he's fucking great. Taylor Kitsch, right? What's his
Coach
name?
Taylor is unbelievable. Yes,
yeah,
Tim Riggins. This is funny because I literally wanted to quiz Lisa on their names, but I think recently we both have like committed to memory everybody's names pretty well.
What's his?
When did you stop?
Landry, is that the other guy? Landry is like the guy from Breaking Bad. He plays. Oh, you didn't see it. He
was it in season 1 or 2?
He's like throughout the show. Yeah. I think I finished season 1 if I recall.
Okay,
I don't know why I stopped.
we have 2 more episodes left of season 1. I'm nervous because like I think in like later seasons you get new characters because it's like a school. So and there's 5 seasons, but you know we finished Sopranos for like a millionth time. We finished Mad Men for like the second or third time, and now it's like a brand new show. And I was nervous about that, but it's really good.
Is it how many episodes a season?
Like 23.
Right, it's one of those because it's a
Yeah.
network show.
It was an NBC show,
Right.
but it's giving me all my vibes. The other thing that we realized,
isn't it crazy like that a show can be as good with 24 episodes a season and also as good with like 12 episodes a season?
yeah,
And like that's a lot. That's a big difference.
I know.
That's a lot of content. And it's like hard for me to want to watch that much content.
They're also hour episodes, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
They're long episodes. So to do 24, that's like, that's a lot. That's
And
20.
there are 5 seasons.
There are 5 seasons. And they all,
I know
think-
season 3 opens with a song by Fucked Up, which is fun.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
wild. That's wild.
It is wild.
I wouldn't expect that.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. Like Coach Taylor is like one of my favorite television characters already. And
I know.
like, I hope that he's like based on a real person because I want to believe that human being exists.
He's
like
the best.
this Southern man who's in touch with emotion, you know what I mean? Who loves football, but also understands like complicated, issues of race. Like he's the perfect guy. And
I
not
know.
to say that like, Southern people can't, because we know an incredible Southern gentleman who very much understands the complications of life and law.
Right. Colonel Sanders.
Colonel Sanders, Jody
Jody
Sellers.
Sanders.
That's a big part of my life that I miss, is aside from you, is talking about our good friend Jody
Are you
Sellers.
kidding me? I miss talking. And like the last thing he asked us to do before we went away was do a
Uh-huh.
30-second video commercial for him.
Oh, wow. Is that what we're going to do right now?
I don't know. I have no idea what that would entail.
I think maybe let's hold off for
Okay.
our first episode back,
Okay.
but we should hit the Sellers Law Firm. Can you remember the number? It's been a while.
770-415-9848.
Yes.
That's it?
I don't know. I have to look it up. Your memory is oddly better than
It's
mine when it
questionable.
comes to this.
It's questionable.
No, but when it comes, like the other day, I asked you for a person's name from high school and you got it. You know?
That
Like-
was funny how that came about too.
770.
415-9848.
Uh-huh. You got it.
What the heck? I used to never remember it.
I,
Sometimes when you don't think about things, they just come to you,
That's true. Hey, that's true. Just like this
Um,
job.
I'm passing through Georgia
I
with Paul Schrader.
hope that in the car you're like, hey, Paul, I gotta swing by Griffin.
Let me
Sorry,
look it
bud.
up. Let me look it up. It's gonna be me.
You don't like it? Sue me.
Did I tell you this? Did I tell you that I'm driving down with the DP as well, the director of photography?
Yes, you did tell me that.
And
I wonder what
apparently-
his deal's going to be like. How I picture him to be like 12, and that doesn't make any sense. I just
Yeah, I
like the
know.
idea of like a boy, a man, and Joe Ambrosio in a car.
I'm not gonna be too far from him, but I'm not gonna have a chance to stop either. I mean, how far?
He'll
is
meet
Griffin from
you.
Atlanta? I mean, he will have to. Yeah. We're staying in Commerce, Georgia. So how far is that from Griffin? An hour and 47 minutes. All right, so it's a little out of the way. I'll ask Paul if we can do it though.
I think the Sellers Law Firm Instagram has updated their bio. I'm
What
going to
does
read
it
it to you. The Sellers Law Firm LLC. Type 1 diabetic, trying to make the world better. # where clients become family. Registered trademark, sign. Crime defense, family law, UGA rugby alum, Tell him Steve Dave Ant, wrestling lawyer, and then 4CD 2905, which probably is a law term.
Unless it's his aunt number. I think they get numbers or something.
Okay.
I'm curious. I'm curious why he hasn't put Podophile on there, Jody. Why don't you put on your professional Instagram page that you're a Podophile?
Podophile.
I don't understand why you wouldn't put that there.
Honestly, Jody is a Coach Taylor type.
I know. He's so sweet too. He sent us an email just like, because he was like, I did
Yeah.
feel bad taking time off because, the dirty secret that we have is that Jody pays us to talk about him. Like, I know we don't,
Secret.
It's a
I
big
think
dirty
we
secret.
explain that every time that
The
he's
super,
we said that he's the angel of our podcast.
nobody knows that, but he actually does pay us.
He's our sugar daddy.
And exactly. It's sugar daddy.
He pays for this. Yeah, I don't want to say like he pays us. I mean, he pays for this to keep going.
I don't want to say it either, but he does pay us. And he, I did feel bad taking this time off sort of unannounced because,
I know.
We
should have had the conversation with him.
But he was totally understanding, and he knows that like there are bigger things going on in the world, and he has a big heart. Cool eyes, cool heart, can't lose, right?
Wow. I mean, it's clear eyes, but
I know. But
I'm always like,
Jody,
whenever they're like clear eyes, full heart,
can't lose.
I'm always like, clear eyes. Like, what is this? A Clearasil commercial? Come on.
It might be. That's so great though, isn't it?
Dry.
I love a good.
What is it? Dry red eyes. That Ben Stein?
I forget. I think it's Jody Sellers. Dry legal issues.
The thing we should do is do parodies of commercials, but for Jody Sellers.
Yeah.
Are
you from the South? Is it like that?
Okay, well, careful with the generalizations.
Why?
Back to that. Coach Taylor was talking about how Mac says this insane thing. He's like,
who's Mac?
Mac is one of the other coaches.
Okay.
You'll probably remember this episode. And it's insane. I mean, it's amazing to watch like old TV because Mad Men had this, Sopranos have this. Like they talk about the things that are happening now, and
because these things happen.
I know
we're stuck in a cycle, and there are systems in place that cause a certain outcome no matter what.
But thank God for these shows, especially a show that's like about football. Like it's like I don't know why I'm generalizing that's like the kind of people who need to. Like hear these kind of things,
but because you're sneaking in a positive, almost like an eye-opening moment. You're kind of like sneaking it in a way that's like,
So Mac makes this thing where they're like they're talking about like why someone like Smash would be Smash is one of the players, black player, who should be like kind of catching the ball and like blocking and running it and not a QB. And he was just like, you don't understand. Guys like Smash, like, and these guys, like, they're junkyard dogs. they're animals. And they're like, and what does that mean about Matt Saracen? He's like, well, he's just like a brainy, smart type, And he's like, so white people are smart and they could handle this. And then he's just like, no, I'm not saying that. But like, he clearly is. And it's like, it's embedded.
It's implicit racism in a way.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
look,
so
I took a test. It's called the implicit bias test. It's really
an online test.
It's an online test by Harvard. It's like it's a research test. It's not Cosmo. It's Harvard.
Yeah, you
may have heard of it. And it's really weird because the first set of questions, the questions are really intense. They're like, I think they're like, it's like a scale of 1 to 10. Like, I strongly agree, I disagree, I don't, neither disagree or agree. It's like the first 10 questions are like, I think about death all the time, and it's like, it seems like weirdly like existential, but then it gets to the actual thing. I picked the first one on the list, which is like, what is your implicit bias towards Asians?
Should I take this right now?
Yeah.
Is there anything, Ben? I don't want to cut you off.
It's about a 15-minute test.
I mean, is that going to be fun? What's the name of it?
Implicit bias test, Harvard.
Bias test, Harvard.
I'm happy to pause here and see how it goes for you. You can take the same one as me.
Oh, but like, is there anything for me taking it now?
As opposed to what?
Like on the podcast, or is it take? So you're saying it takes a long time?
No, because you have to focus.
Okay.
You have to focus because
I have it queued up. Maybe I'll do it and we'll check back in.
Part of the thing for it is like you quickly have to press. you have two like buttons to press.
Gotcha.
For an association. You have
to be continued. I'm going to do it and figure it out. Yeah. Should you not tell me though, like anything about it?
I won't tell you anything else. I did the Asian one. Meaning there's like a bunch of different ones. I did the first one, which is about Asian Americans.
Okay. Cool.
All right. Let me know when you're done.
Oh, I'm going to do it right now?
I don't know. I thought you were.
Oh, no. I thought I think we'd finish this and I would do it afterward. And
then
maybe
you'll text me.
All right. So real quick, going back to another thing is, so you're going on this road trip. And so it might be tough to do a full podcast, but I don't know
what I'm going to be able to do. Yeah.
But I thought maybe if you, with your phone and maybe like a headphone or something, call Zoom, get the Zoom app and Zoom.
Well, I have to
me.
bring my laptop anyway, so.
Right, but there might be a situation where you're like, I'm gonna Zoom. Like, you text me and go, like, Casey, can you Zoom right now? Because I want to tell you something. Like, if you're excited about something that
So you
just
want me to
happened.
drop in little vignettes here and there?
And then I'll record each time, and then I'll put them all together.
I'll try. I will try. You know,
Okay.
I'm literally like around him.
Hey, if there's
At all
one thing that
times.
we do on this podcast to set something up that we don't accomplish,
You're right. You're right. You're right. We haven't done that
so
in a
let's
while.
set it up.
Okay. You're right.
You're gonna call me, and it's gonna be these beautiful, crazy snippets with Paul Schaefer in the background.
My mom thought it was Paul Schaefer as well. She's like, Paul Schaefer, huh? From Letterman?
You're both musicians.
Yeah. And then she's so sweet. She's been sending me every day like little like research. She's been like researching him and like, you know, like little things.
Does she like him?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think she neither like likes or dislikes him, but she's been sending like little clips like, did you know he likes this? Did you know he has a son your age? You know, like all this cute little. She's so
Wow.
sweet and like she's excited. My parents, when I called and asked, I called them before you, and immediately they were like, I know, I'm sorry, and immediately they were like, you got to do it. And it's the funniest thing. It's
I
like,
love it.
I think we all know, like, look, I'm a TV writer, you know, like, and I'm trying to be a writer, not just in TV, but just a writer in general. And I've been working on some things during this time off.
Movies.
That I'm not. One movie and two shows, and I'm just trying to like keep it going and like have a body of work. I'm not. His work is so different from anything you and I do. It's very serious. He wasn't allowed to watch movies until he was 18. Like his parents wouldn't let him watch movies. So he doesn't have the whimsy of like watching a movie as a kid, and like that's not what he brings to movies. He treats movies like art. They're like transcendental art to him. So it's like there's not much comedy in any of his work. It's all very intense shit.
Yeah.
So like almost none of it like tracks in a way, but like I think we can all agree that drama and comedy are like kind of like flip sides of the same coin. And I just feel like I might learn something being in his orbit at all times and seeing like how he yells at people, how he's nice to people, how he tells people, like how he executes a vision. You know, like I think it's all going to be interesting at the very least.
Yeah. I think I for sure think you'll just pick up little things, even if you don't realize it like right away, just down the line, you might just be like, this reminds me of this, or this is now the way I see things because that's how I saw it get done.
Exactly.
It'll be fun.
It's going to be, it might be, I'm not used to being like when you and I show up to set for Jokers, we're kind of like there to observe most of the time. You know, we'll contribute jokes to the guys, but we're not involved in the production process.
Yeah,
so we
Jokers,
get to like,
yeah.
We get to lay back and kind of watch what's going on, and like we get the free food, we get the free coffee, and we get to hang. And it's actually quite relaxing in some ways. On this, I'm not used to not being like a writer on set. Like I'm actually like pretty low on the totem pole in a way, but I'm not a PA either. You know, like I get to be like, Mr. Schrader needs this right now.
Yeah.
Like I can say shit like that, and that's fine. But it's going to be an interesting mental switch for me, and I think I have to like approach it almost like I'm taking care of my grandfather. I think that will help me mentally, like.
Which you have some experience.
Yeah, he lived with us for a while.
Right. So should be the same.
He walked in on me having sex once, my grandfather. So
I know.
I wonder if you know.
Should you recreate it?
Exactly. I'll have Allie meet me in Griffin.
You got to get those bonds any way you can.
Yeah.
I think that it's going to be a really fun experience. I think it's going to be weird at times, hard at times. Like you said, it might be waking up at 4 a.m. I
think that it sounds like we're doing like 9 a.m. shoots, which is good.
Okay. That's great.
I hope. I especially hope that these are all indoors because Mississippi looks pretty rough right now. As far as like, yeah, man, humid, hot, thunderstorms. I don't know, but I'm also like his driver. I gotta like take him wherever he wants to go and shit. It's gonna be weird.
Wow. Where is he gonna want to go? At least you guys get to drink, like, because you said he likes cocktails, right?
He's a drinker, yeah. So hopefully we can bond over that.
That's fun. Yeah. I don't know. I think it'll be a lot of fun.
I don't know if fun is the right word. It might be fun. I think it'll be interesting.
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
It might be fun.
That's a good mindset. For the next couple of weeks, I don't know what so we just finished dinner party. So for people who don't since we haven't really caught them up at all in the last couple of weeks.
Right.
So I got to work on Dinner Party, which was a surprise, but it was nice, but also weird because like really nobody else except for like Lucy from Impractical Jokers was working on it. So there's like a little bit of
And Shay or no?
no. Shay just did an episode. She's a surprise guest, which I probably shouldn't have said, but hey, who
Okay.
cares? But yeah, but that just finished. It was like 8 weeks, and it was a blast. But just to have something to do was really nice. But now I'm like free again. Got some little things I want to do, but I have to really like get back to that mindset where like I want to find something.
Yeah.
There's a potential
What do you
thing.
see yourself doing?
A friend of mine asked me to kind of like maybe write on a little project. Otherwise, I don't know. It was nice too. Like I had a bunch of editing projects, like for my brother and some other people. I almost got this. I'm not sure if it's still happening, but I almost like got to edit something for the Strokes. So hopefully that
a video?
happens. Yeah,
That'd be
like an
great.
interview series or
How
something.
amazing, right? I mean, if you, I think back to like, there's that picture of you and I at Dock Street, where I'm like crazy skinny and you're a little bigger, and like we just look way different than we do now. You know
Yeah.
the one I'm talking about?
Yes,
You're wearing
I do.
You're wearing a Stroke shirt.
I think we looked at that once and said we both
The shrimp
you
and the
gained
cocktail.
a little weight and I lost a little weight and we've like
Yeah.
evened out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I called it the shrimp and the cocktail.
The shrimp and the cocktail.
And I don't know what the cocktail means, but it's just crazy to think about that. Was that 2003 maybe? And like you're wearing a Stroke shirt, and like now, like you're really very close. You're like a degree away from the Strokes. You know, I'm surprised. Have you met them?
Yeah, I met Julian. Colin took me to a the Voids were doing, which is Julian's like side project. They were doing like a small intimate family release party thing,
Right.
Because they had the new record out, and they only played like 5 or 6 songs, but there was like only like 30 people there in attendance.
That's amazing.
And
That's
which was crazy. And they sounded really good. They were about to go on tour, so they wanted like a practice in front of people.
Right.
And I met like Julian's parents. I met Julian. There were some other like SNL people there, like newer cast members that were big Strokes fans, like Heidi. That Colin knew that they were Strokes fans, so he took them too. And it was wild. It was really fun. He seemed really nice, and he also like was like, oh, you're like to me, it was like, oh, your brother's the best. Like it's so crazy that I've known him for so long now. Because when Colin was at the Harvard Lampoon, I don't know if I've told this before, but he got the Strokes to come to the Harvard Lampoon and like party and like play a show, and they rented go-karts and they were riding around Cambridge in go-karts. It was like a wild scene that he set that up, you know, with other people, I'm sure, from the Lampoon, and they stayed in touch ever since.
Wow, that
and
sounds
so
fun.
Colin like has always like when any times the Strokes had been on, Colin was sort of like pushing it, you know, like for them to be on it. And then so that interview series, he was one of the people that like interviewed them. They had like a bunch of different people interview him.
What was that for? Recently?
This is the thing I said that I might even.
Oh, I see.
You know, I have no idea. Like I got asked
Your
actually
hat's
by
in the ring, whatever it is.
Yeah, I got asked by their manager. Asked somebody at North South who had asked me if I had any interest, and I said yes, but then I didn't hear anything else. But then sort of the world changed. So.
Yeah, they might not be putting
Right.
it out anytime soon.
Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah, their last record was called The New Abnormal, and it's kind of prescient, right?
Yeah, I dig the record a lot. Do you like it?
I do. Yeah,
Me too.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's just it's funny, right? Like there's a couple of like, and they acknowledge it in the credits, like a couple of like melodies that they like lifted from other things.
Yeah.
But by acknowledging it, it's like this was intentional, you know?
Well, a long time ago, like when the second album was about to come out, I read a Spin article with like him talking about the way he sort of uses other songs and makes like his own version of them. Like he says he can't help but like when he plays something or when he records something or like when he's writing to kind of jack another song, because he's just like, that's exactly what all music is like.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's like
it's variations on a theme.
Yeah, and like you're leaning into a style that you got from another thing. So he's just a little bit more upfront about it, which is cool. And he's like, he doesn't mean it as like a way to steal from people, but it's just sort of that's what he's kind of doing. But yeah, like which do you remember which ones? Because there's that like that Making Bad Decisions song, which is like
Yeah, that's Dancing on My Own. Is it or Dancing by Myself?
Dancing by
Billy
Myself.
Idol.
Billy Idol, yeah.
And then there's a psychedelic furs song. It was a song I played at your brother's birthday party a couple years ago. The Ghost in Me.
Oh,
Psychedelic furs.
I probably know the melody more than I know the song.
Yeah, it's the one that's like I can't think of how it goes right now. I can't do it.
I mean, we would get flags for copyright violations if
I would nail it too accurately.
Exactly.
But anyway, yeah, it's good stuff.
So I don't know what I'm going to be doing these next 2 weeks though, because you're going to be out.
Yeah, without me. How have you lasted the past month without me?
I hope to. So we're in Brooklyn now. We had been in Montauk like back and forth because we've been staying with my brother, and that's been really fun to hang out with them so much. I hope to go back because it's just a different vibe out there. I do like Brooklyn, but I feel bad. Oh, we might get a dog.
Oh yeah,
that's
yeah,
a thing?
that's a big
Get a
thing.
dog. How fun would
That
that
story,
be?
that story about you texting Zaluga's sister is so fucking funny.
Should we tell it?
Yes.
All right. So our good friend John Zaluga, who's got the Super Live Adventure podcast, he's a writer at Jokers. You probably know him if you're listening to this. He's the best. His sister helped our friend Jana, who's another writer.
What does she work for? It's called Paw Patrol or something?
Muddy Paws. Paw Patrol is a TV show that kids watch. That's huge.
Okay. Whatever.
Muddy Paws. And so John's sister got us like involved, like helped our friend Jana, and then also is helping us to find a dog.
She basically like lets you, because you know her, she lets you like get, hopefully not first dibs necessarily, but you get to see the dogs before they're put on the website, right?
And also like she's a foster, so she gets a dog that she's like that she doesn't want to like keep. She's like she'll bring it to us, or like we're on a short list of people that she'll bring to first.
Right.
We're qualified by Muddy Paws, like meaning like we went through the system, we signed up, they interviewed us, we talked to them, and then she also has a relationship with other foster people to be like, hey, I have this couple that really want this kind of dog, and so it's possible that we might interview with the dog, that we're talking about. So she sent us some photos of dogs, and I immediately sent it to our group chat, which is me, you, Chris Vert, our friend Jenny Pecora,
Mark
Pat, like
Matacardi.
like this great. We could have done Jinx there. Thank you for not. This great crew of people.
We could have also not said Matacardi, the lawyer's last name, but we did.
Who cares?
I don't know.
He's fine with it. He's the biggest freak in the world.
I know. He wants someone to like sue him, so he can.
Jody should sue him.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm chatting with all that, and then our jokes are flying. You know what I mean? Like we're just texting insane stuff about this dog, insane shit.
Right, because you wanted to call the dog Grandma.
So I wanted to. So Lisa and I have been talking about like we've always wanted to name a dog Grandma. We just like the name of that.
Yeah, our friend got a cat and she named it Chef. I like the idea of naming a cat like.
That's good. That's a good one too, Chef.
Yeah.
So we're joking around, and like the way we all joke is like, it's insane, and it's like you're gonna rub its belly, and like, you know what I mean? It gets kind of like oddly like sexual and stuff like that. And you're also asking real questions. Like people are like, how old is it? So I'm going back and forth between Julie Zaluga, who a person who I've maybe met once in my life. By the way. Oh, I have her saved as Julie Zaluga. Oh, okay. Anyway,
not that it matters. It's just
yeah, it adds to it. I'm going back and forth, and I'm actually like on my computer, so I'm typing and clicking back and forth, like, and
it's neither. By the way, it's neither her first or last name.
Okay, it's not.
No, it's Juliet.
This adds a whole other layer. I'm also like every time I've been like, thanks, Julie.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure she gets that all the time.
Anyway, both groups are kind of like, both chats. I'm like asking questions to Julie, and then like responding to the other group. So at one point I asked, how old is she? And she wrote 8 weeks, only 8 weeks. And then I went back to the other group and I was going back and forth. And then I thought someone in our group wrote only 8 weeks. And I wrote,
no.
And I wrote, young, dumb, and full of come, Grandma, as if COME, as if I'm telling this dog to like come, and I'm saying Grandma.
Saying young, dumb, and full of cum, Grandma.
Yes.
Also, 'cause you
And
thought you were responding to us.
I thought I was responding, and she has no idea that I want to name the dog Grandma. So
If you look at your texts with her, they're very much like, "What is it like?" It's like this. And how
it's a
old is it?
Beagle
It's old.
Lab. Great. Okay, great.
And then
it's,
like the dog is so young that it's only 8 weeks young, and you go, "Young, dumb, and full of cum, Grandma." Crazy. It's crazy that you did that.
crazy. And then I wrote, I wrote, oh my God, that was a inside joke between me and your brother John Zaluga, who
Which
I
you
missed.
did not have to do. You could have just said wrong text.
I just got nervous.
I
And
know. I feel like you made it so much worse. You did like something I might do.
100%. Of course. Of course. And then I was like, and I tried to just move it over with business. I was like, anyway, so what's the process like
My
for
social
this?
security number is this. No, like it's so funny. And then you told John, and you were like, John, could you back me up? If like
I
she
didn't.
brings this up?
I didn't ask him to back me up. I just told John to be like, look what I did.
Oh, because when I talked to him about it, he's like, yeah, next time she brings it up, I'm being like, there's no inside joke between us.
Oh yes. We did talk about that.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, he told me
He's
he
not
was just
going
like,
to do anything to
he was
back
like,
you
I
up.
can't. He was like, I can't wait until she brings this up.
Right.
And I texted John just to be like, John, I can't, look what I did.
I know. It's
I
fucking funny, man.
you know, ugh, insane.
It's so good.
It's pretty epic. It's up there with when I accidentally broke up with a young lady I was dating because I had texted our friend Danny Lane.
Oh,
I
which one
texted
is
her.
that? Who is it? Can you tell me who it is without saying who it is?
Yes.
What? Can you type it in the Zoom chat? I'm curious. Is that clarinet? What are you signaling? Type in the group chat. Yeah, trumpet. I know, but what does that mean? Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
right.
I also put hints in the chat. I don't know why. I like a game. I like a game.
I know who you're talking about. Okay. Okay, that's a funny one. So how did you do that again?
So I thought I was texting Danny Lane. Hey, I've been thinking about breaking up with said person.
Right.
And I texted it to her at like
so,
1 a.m. And then at like
so
4 a.m. I get a call. That's like,
so
what?
Fucking funny.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
So how did that go?
I was like, oh, I was kidding.
Oh, come on.
It's an inside joke with John Zaluga.
So then I guess you did break up.
Yes.
How did you break up right then and there? Or did you like last a couple of days?
It was like, well, let's, let's talk about it. I think I tried to phrase it as like a break.
Yeah, everyone's made that mistake.
Yeah, it was bad. I mean, I didn't know how to do it.
Nobody does. I mean,
it was almost a good way to do it because it was like so abrupt, and it's like, it's so clear that she shouldn't be with me. I'm such an idiot.
I do sympathize with people that like, you see people in like relationships that like, maybe as an outsider, like they shouldn't be together, but I'm like, it's just so hard to break up, especially when you live with someone and all that.
Oh
stuff.
my God.
It's crazy. I can't imagine having to break up with someone again.
I mean, imagine during quarantine.
Dude, brutal.
Apparently, Lisa knows somebody who broke up with whose significant other broke up with them, and that person was going to propose.
Wow.
So it's like, imagine being in quarantine with someone, and you're like, well, I'm eventually gonna. I mean, like, I bought the ring. I'm like gonna propose, and then it's like they break up with you, and you're like, whoa.
At least
it's like,
I guess it's better than having proposed and getting rejected.
Oh, 100%. I think like anytime a breakup happens, you're like, well, that just means that it was not right,
it's just the move. Like, I never knew how to kiss a girl for a while. Like, I didn't understand.
Love that came out of nowhere.
I'm just saying, I didn't
Beautiful
understand.
quote.
Like, I didn't understand like the magical like formula, the combination for like. How do you get from like just sitting next to someone to like kissing them? I didn't get that.
I still don't know. I actually still don't know.
And I think it's like remembering Jody Seller's phone number. Like, the less you think about it, like they're just natural. If you can pick up on the natural cues and like, phrasings and body language, where like it's not something that you need to overthink. But as someone that didn't know how to do it, I just would naturally overthink it, you know?
Right.
And it kind of like, you know, I think there's a parallel to breaking up with someone. It's like, I don't know how people break up, but you just kind of have to do it. You just have to say it, you know? And the longer you put it off, the worse it is.
I wrote down this idea for a scene in a movie. I don't know what movie it would be, but it's like during the romantic scene, like in a movie where like the two people you want to have kiss
they make
are going
love?
to kiss for the
Okay.
first time. And what I wrote as the dialogue is the woman says, "Do you want to touch my butt?" And then they kiss.
Right. That would be nice. It would be nice if a woman was a little more
Like,
forward and said,
"Do you
that.
want to touch my butt?" And then they kiss. And
Instead
then
of touching
it cuts
butts.
away.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just thought that would be a fun. I don't know.
I know.
I visualized it be like kind of cutting the tension, but also, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I only broke up with someone once, and I wasn't very good at it. It took us like years to break up.
Oh my God, yeah. You guys still aren't even broken up.
Yeah.
She's
still,
married.
She's still not sure. Yeah. Exactly. It's crazy.
It is the funniest.
I feel like you've broken up with a lot of people.
Yeah. You've
mostly been the breaker upper with.
Yeah.
Breaker upper.
Yeah, which I never expected, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it had happened like even at like a young age.
Like when you guys are playing house in 6th grade.
No. That was like sometimes those things would just end.
Right.
Like
those are natural.
Like they were like I think I remember in like 2nd or 3rd grade, I think we talked about this. Like me and a fellow student, another girl on the bus, would just like kiss on the lips. And I remember like my brother and like older kids walking by like, what the fuck? Like what the hell?
Right.
And I think
How's he doing it? How's he doing it?
This girl just like wanted to kiss, and I was like the boy that she wanted to kiss, and she would just like made it happen. And I would sit on the bus and like just get kissed.
Right.
I was okay with it. It was consensual.
But you broke up with her.
And then we got married in the playground, which I don't even think I ever confessed to Lisa.
You might want to annul that. Yeah.
Her best friend, a girl named Stephanie, put a ring on both of us that she had made from ivy, not poison ivy.
Sweet. It's actually like is like a very earthy ceremony. It's kind of similar to you and Lisa's marriage.
It is. It's the exact same.
She had an ivy ring.
Yeah. I know.
Wow, you have a type.
So yeah, I mean, like my second wife, Lisa, has been like incredible.
Right.
No, but so that was that, you know, and then that kind of just ended. I don't remember a point where we stopped.
Because it was a play. You guys are playing rituals, like adult rituals, which
I
is
I do remember a moment later, like a couple years later, like a bunch of years, you know, because that's 2nd grade. This incident was probably like 7th grade. I was with a bunch of boys that were making fun of that girl that I was married to, my ex-wife, for saying that she stuffs her bra and saying like, I'm crying. I need a tissue. You know, can you give me one? Like this fucked up shit.
Wow.
And I was just among them, but I was like, I mean, I'm still like, oh, come on, guys, this is my ex. Like, come on,
guys, come on. Her
but
tits
like,
are
I didn't
real.
say anything, but I should have stopped them. And I remember her like kind of being like, it was like a Friday Night Lights moment of her being like kind of looking at me and being like, really,
like, yeah, we have a past,
because we were also just like friends, and you know what I mean. I'm not the kind of person that, and I remember being like, fuck, you know what I mean,
right?
You know,
yeah, you really riggins it up
because we have kids,
right?
But yeah, so that was, I don't remember how that ends. And then so my first like girlfriend, I broke up with, and my second girlfriend, and then
have you ever been broken up with?
Now that we're saying it,
even like the big one, like, you know, like
which
even Victoria.
Oh yeah, that was
to call that a big one is so stupid because that was high school. But like I still consider that your like big one for some reason. I don't know why.
No, I think it was because it was like a foundation of our friend group.
She was like our girlfriend, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was also 3 years of our high school into college
it was
life.
Like when I first knew you. So
formative.
You guys were like,
that ended with like, you know, like cheating and like, you know what I mean? Like all this.
But even now, looking back on it, like it's hard to indict high school cheating in a way. You know,
No way.
It's, 'cause
Yeah,
it's also stupid.
it's fun. It's great.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. But
Say
you know,
it's fun, but it's
Friday Night Lights is like there's a bunch of cheating,
Right.
and like there's some stuff that like we're rooting for. And
Right.
we're like, why do we care about these like high school kids?
It's different though because adults cheating, there's like just so much more at stake. But like high school kids cheating, you're like you shouldn't even be like seriously dating anyone in the first place. You
I know. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. So that's kind of the perfect thing for Friday Night Lights because you can have fun with that. You know what I mean? Like the stakes are there in their minds, but as a viewer, you're like, come on, you and Minka Kelly should be together. What's her name?
Who's
again?
Minka Kelly?
She was the one that used to date Derek Jeter.
No, but who is she in the show?
I think she might be the car dealer's daughter. Is she a
Oh,
brunette?
okay, yeah. That's
Is she brunette or is she blonde?
yeah, she's brunette.
Okay.
That's oh man, I'm blanking on her name. Garrity. There's Buddy Garrity, and she's Julie Zaluga.
Julie Zaluga. I think that's it. Yeah. So, but
Anyway,
yeah. Otherwise, you've never.
Those
been
characters are all just young, dumb, and full of cum grandma.
Oh my God, you're right.
Cum grandma.
You still gonna name the dog Grandma? Like you don't
Yeah.
care what the dog is?
We actually like if it's this dog, we've decided that we don't think grandma is the right name for her.
Right.
We have some
I-
other.
I don't- I don't regret Miles, but like hearing about a cat named Chef makes me wonder. Like, oh, it could have been fun to like.
Well,
name a
you know,
cat.
Lisa's mad that you changed it from Crispy.
I know, but Crispy, come on.
I mean, that cat is a Crispy.
Okay. Look like that's his like maybe that's his like Jellicle name.
Yeah, Jenny named her dog Pina Thunderbolt.
Right.
Something else. There's also like another name.
Right.
But Pina is nice. I like Pina for
Mhm.
a dog.
It means like pine, right? Like pine nut. And it's
Yeah.
Pignoli.
I have no idea.
Doesn't Gatto have a dog named Pignoli?
I think so.
Yeah.
Any kind of cookie or something. He's got a dog or a kid named it.
I have an ongoing thing where I always like pretend that one of his dogs is named like Shviadel. And he like hates that. He like doesn't find that as funny as I do. But I think it's funny because it's like
What
such
is
an unwieldy
Shviadel?
name. It's like an Italian pastry, like a cookie,
What's it spelled?
SFIOL.
Oh,
like
yeah,
it's-
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and
I love SF.
yeah, exactly. I just
word
love
with-
that because like my inner like canon joke about it is like that Joe ends up having so many dogs that he has to resort to naming one Shviadel. And
Yeah.
it's like funny to me that like just it's such an unwieldy name. His kids won't even know how to pronounce it or write it, and like he doesn't find it as funny as I do though.
Maybe, yeah. There's some stuff that, he doesn't always like respond to the way you want him to.
What are you gonna do?
You're like, this is a joke you set up. Don't you love this?
I know exactly.
I know.
Exactly.
I've been there.
Like this. I'm just playing your game.
I know. I think sometimes he doesn't want that. He's like, it's my game for a reason.
I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, we got. I got my buddy Greg Benedetto, our good friend,
Oh, what about him?
involved in the show.
No shit.
So, Murr had a bunch of tapes that he needed to get. So far I've gotten him.
digitized. Yeah.
I got him work from Joe. I got him work from Sal. And then, so when I called Greg, he was like, "What, does Murr need his tapes converted?" And I was like, "Yes."
Oh, that's great.
And
you
so,
did it for Joe on the side.
no, well, Joe needed it, and I said, "Hey, my buddy Greg does this,"
Right.
and Sal too. And since they both did it, he's a trustworthy guy.
Exactly.
And so yeah, Greg Benedetto, he digitized. And I also told Murr, like, because it's like we're doing this, you could have the show pay for it. So
He's one of the last guys I hung out before quarantine.
yeah, he told me that you called him when you met Jay and Silent Bob,
I did
or you texted him or
a
talked to
year
him.
ago. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
just like, I
Yeah.
gotta I wrote the intro for like the Joker's bit with Jay and Silent Bob, and it was like it's so stupid. It's just an intro, but at the same time, it's kind of funny. It's like kind of the sweet thing that I got to.
Oh wait, so you wrote what Kevin said? I mean, what Jay said?
Yeah, but he also like improvised it.
Yeah.
Most of it. But like I wrote
But
the
that's
it's
incredible
It's an
still.
intro. Like those don't mean anything.
Right, but it's incredible.
Yeah, I guess. Anyway, of course I told Greg. I mean, he's like the guy I think about. Kevin Smith, I think about Greg. I guess
wanna
he
hear it?
introduced me to him.
You want to hear another dumb thing I did?
Yeah, young, dumb, and full of what?
So, come, Joey, listen. So Greg's mom was my teacher in 4th grade,
Right.
and sadly she passed away.
Yes.
And when I called Greg when we were talking, like I told him about the job and stuff, and I was like, "How's everything else? Like, how's your mom? Oh God, I'm sorry. How's your dad?" Like I meant to be like,
Right.
"How's your dad?"
How's your family,
and
really?
he was immediately like, "Okay," and then it was fine. You know what I mean? But it's just like, how does that shit happen sometimes?
I mean, I did that with Mario. Or
Right, right,
I was like, I'm at your cousin's place who had like passed away, and like it was
right.
still fresh in his head. I was like, I'm sorry, I don't know why I did that, you know. And I tried to like pull a Juliet Zaluga with it when I was like,
It's an
um,
inside joke with John Zaluga.
yeah, exactly. Where I was just like, I meant, you know, like in spirit or like your other cousin. I don't know. I was just, it's fucking stupid. You know, you just say these things that are like, of course you're interested in what they're gonna say, but it's almost like a general question in a way. It's like, how's your family? But you, when you're too specific about it, sometimes you make mistakes.
It's a wild world we live in, man. Like, isn't it funny how like still relatively, this is gonna sound crazy, but like email's not that old.
I mean, Paul Schrader uses an AOL email address.
Right. And it's like, I guess like in the 90s, I don't think I was really using email until college.
Uh-huh.
Would you agree with that? I had
No,
one.
no, I used it because I did a lot of online gaming and stuff like that, so that you needed an email address for that stuff. So I used
Right.
to have a Hotmail address that I used
I
for a
had one
while.
too. I mean, I think I always used an AOL one.
But you know, and then I had an AOL one as well, and we would send chain letters to each other. So
I wonder if I could still get into my AOL one.
I don't know. That's a good question.
Because
But like,
because
how would you be able to?
my Gmail only goes back so far, and I can't get into my college ones because it was like a rider email, and
Yeah, I can't get my college ones either.
which sucks.
I know. I'm like, I actually do enjoy like hitting rewind on my like Gmail. It goes
100%.
to like 2009, 2010 maybe.
The fact that
And
we
just,
paid so much fucking money and we can't get into our old emails.
yeah, I know.
Come on, what am I, Hillary? I don't know.
I haven't tried AOL. I wonder if there's a way. And it's just like if you did forget your password, like how there's no way to reset it because it's your first email. There's no like other email to send it
Right.
to.
Yahoo was like that too. Like
Yeah.
I had a Yahoo, but I don't know how to get into it.
But I think in some ways I'm not sure that my password has changed since then. Like my password has evolved.
Yes.
Like I've like continued to like do things with it, but there's like a basic sort of like bottom line to it.
No, I've changed. Mine has evolved a lot, but I remember all the iterations pretty much.
But like every iteration is from the last one. Like it always links. I'm like, so if I'm like trying to like log into something and it doesn't work, I'm like, well, let me think. So I probably did this with the password from there, you know?
I realized the other day my first AOL screen name I was like embarrassed of for a long time, and now I'm back around that I like it again.
Which one was it?
Killa KC43.
Right, and it was Killa, like Ghostface Killa.
Yeah, KILLAH
Yeah,
KC43, which means fuck you.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know it either when I made it
That's perfect.
because everyone had 143, and I did 43 for some reason.
Mine was It's Joey 007. It's Joey. That's not easy.
Was it because of GoldenEye?
Yeah, I was a fan.
Wow.
I was a fan of Pierce Brosnan.
I've never beaten, like I never owned GoldenEye. I had played it with friends, but I never
Bro,
beat
I
the
beat
game.
the fuck out of it.
Right? It's hard, right?
I had
Like
all
you
the
could put it on
secrets,
a
all the
hard mode.
levels. Yeah, I had all the secrets, all the levels, all the cheats. You had to earn
How
the cheats.
good were you at it compared to like Super Smash Brothers?
I better at Smash Brothers probably because I don't think I could pick up GoldenEye and be as good as I was then, but I could pick up any Smash Brothers and like nail it.
But like looking back at you spent more hours in Smash Brothers, correct?
I don't know. I mean, because there are like 5 different versions of Smash Brothers, sure, and they all kind of follow a similar format. So if you're good at one, you can carry over those skills. But GoldenEye is just GoldenEye.
I don't even know what your like top 5 games are of all time. I mean, I barely know your baseball top 5 movies, but
That's right.
I'm gonna make some guesses.
Okay. Like, what do
Um,
you mean? Like, I wouldn't consider GoldenEye up there because I don't
Half-Life
think I play it
2,
anymore. Yeah, it's a good guess. It's a great
Chrono
good guess.
Trigger.
It's a great game. Yep, you know that one. Though I talk about it a lot.
But come on, that first guess was incredible.
Really good.
It's why you bought VR.
Exactly. You pay attention. I
we're
appreciate
still
that.
friends.
We are. Wasn't sure, but we are.
See,
You're
you said that we're not. No, I'm kidding.
right. I've said it multiple times, but you're right. I'm wrong.
Okay. Super Smash Brothers.
I'll give it to that. Yeah.
Ocarina?
Okay.
Yeah?
Sure.
Sure.
No, it's a groundbreaker. How could I say no to that? I still have fond memories.
That's about, what did I guess? 4 or 5?
4 out of 5.
What am I missing? What's a big one?
You're gonna miss one that I never talked to you about, and that I consider to be one of the greatest video games.
Mario Sunshine.
No, it's called Nier Automata. Yeah, and it's fucking great, man. It's like it breaks the fourth wall. It's like philosophical. It's fucking cool, man. It's about like what does it mean to exist. I love that shit.
Was this a computer game?
PS4 came out a couple years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
I would say that. Do you want to guess any of mine?
Well, so which Zelda would it be? I guess it might be Link to the Past.
That's a great guess, but I think about that game a lot. But
But your favorite one is what?
it's
Breath
got
of
to.
the Wild?
I think it's got to be Ocarina of Time because it's the one that if I didn't play that, I wouldn't be playing any of them.
Let me think.
I have one too that like I don't think you'll guess. That I think I could tell you because I think it would be really hard.
Is it Knights on Saturn?
No, I hated that game.
Okay.
I played it so many times, and I feel like I never actually played it.
There's
You know
nothing
what I mean?
to it. There's nothing
Like-
to it really.
Yeah, I was like, every time I was guessing,
Right.
and I've played it like 1,000 times, and I've like beat it, and I'm like, what?
I know. I'm trying to
It's
think of like
so weird.
I mean like are how many of your top 5 games are like from before the last couple years? Meaning
Probably
in terms of your life.
yeah. So one of them is Indiana Jones and the Lost Temple of Atlantis.
Yes, of course.
That was a PC game.
Of course. I wonder if I would have
incredible.
guessed that.
I've actually recently I wanted to play it, but I was like, no, I'll just watch a YouTube video. I watched someone play the
Honestly,
whole thing.
it's true. It's the same shit.
Yeah. Because it's so hard to like. I'd have to have like the CD and like who knows? I don't even have a CD player. You know, it's like
So much of what makes a game great is like where you're at the time and like where the technology's at. Like
Yeah.
there was like an Alien versus Predator game that at the time was fucking great.
Yeah.
But when I look back at it now and I've watched like videos of it, it's like not that great. But at
Right.
the time, it was like the graphics were great. The gameplay was really cool because you would be the face hugger.
Yeah.
You'd crawl around the floor and jump on a guy's face. That was fun, you know? But like now it's not as fun.
I know. I loved also that WCW NWO Revenge.
Uh-huh.
There are better ones now, like No Mercy is like the best version of it now. But Revenge was like the
That's
one that's it's the style. It's like as if that's what I mean. Like same with Zelda. Like they're probably like
Right.
Breath of the Wild is better than Ocarina in like every way. But you know,
You killed my choices, I guess. You did good.
what do you mean?
Guessing, I mean. You
Oh
guessed
yeah,
well.
I know. The Half-Life one was key.
Yeah.
Nailing that.
You're off to a good start.
Yeah, and then Chrono Trigger.
I've been vocal about the other ones, yeah.
I know. There's another one that there's another game I think I'm forgetting.
For you?
Yeah. Well, also another one of yours is probably Dr. Mario at this point, right?
Yeah. It's a
Do you
new favorite.
Do you like Tetris more?
I play Tetris more because I play online and I'm just fucking nailing first place. I got first place twice in a row the other day.
Very nice.
It's crazy.
Yeah, there are definitely some games like Game Boy games that I could just pick up and play, and like no matter how many times I beat it, it's like therapy. It's just like
Yeah.
I'd say like the Super Mario Land. It's a quick, fun
That's
game.
the Game Boy one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's not another Mario like it. It's like kind of the most unique Mario in that way.
You know what's cool? I read about this the other day. What's his name? Miyamoto, I think, is the guy
Yep.
that created all the
Takashi
Mario
Miyamoto?
shit. Shigeru?
Shigeru Miyamoto. Wait. Yeah, Shigeru. Yeah. Who invented Zelda?
It's
Not the
same
music
guy,
one, right?
Yeah, that's Koji Kondo.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
music.
not him. So yeah, Shigeru.
So Super Mario Brothers 3 for NES.
Yeah.
If you recall, the opening of like the title screen is like a curtain opens and all the players come running out and like run around the screen and stuff. And it's revealed from then on that all of the Mario games are a stage play.
Yes.
And Bowser's not really a bad guy. He just plays a bad guy. That's why they're always like playing tennis together and shit in other games and in Mario Party.
Wow.
Mario's not evil. Bowser's not evil. He's just like cast that way.
Huh.
You know what I mean? He's like typecast that way.
Wow. Because that makes sense. Because also Mario 64 starts with like the camera that comes down
Yeah, it's being filmed, right?
and it's being filmed, and
Yeah.
that's interesting too. Like that's the first game to be like, what you're watching is
It's
a
from the
camera.
point of view. Exactly. They play into that. I thought that was so cool.
Yeah,
And in
that's
Super
really
Mario RPG, Bowser is like on your team. He's like one of the people that you use to
yes.
like fight with. So in canon, it's all just a stage play, and that's why Mario is always like on a different planet and shit, like because it's like different movies with the same characters, you know.
Yeah, it's interesting the difference between like all right, so he made Mario and he made Zelda. And one of the biggest differences like is Mario's like it's a platformer that, or not even always platformer, but it's like it's always just like a timing puzzle.
Yeah.
Like when to jump and stuff like that. Whereas Zelda can be fighting and real cerebral puzzles, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so and like there's like stuff hidden, you know? They're both fun, but they're completely different.
Yeah, there's always something hidden too.
Yeah, I guess in both. Yeah.
Speaking of Mario's, I got a bike. That's another one of these developments
Yeah,
from
that's
the past
huge.
couple months. Big fan of this bike. I've been buying like fun little gear for it. I got my fanny pack coming in the mail so I can put my tools in it. You made fun of me for my tools, but like
Yeah.
I've had flat tires before, and I want to be prepared.
Yeah. How far out are you going that you can't get home?
I mean, I guess I could, but like, what am I gonna? I would have to walk it. You know, I can't put it in a cab. I can't put it on a
Yeah.
bus.
If you
know
go
what I
pretty
mean?
far, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I can't. You know, it would really, it's kind of stuck.
You're right. You're right.
So I have like all these little.
I love that also. I didn't make fun of you for a fanny pack because I also love fanny packs. But
Right.
I was just like,
You made fun of the tools, which is the more masculine thing of
yeah,
the two.
I know. I called you a Boy Scout.
But like my whole thing, like my last bike, one of the problems with it was that I really geared it up, and it was always heavy. It had like a pouch with all these tools in it, and like a U-lock and a chain lock on it, and like I never took it anywhere because it was so fucking heavy. This one I have right now is single speed. It's super light on its own, and all I have on it is like a U-lock that I can take on and off only if I need it. So I can get like today I went to the store to buy like a new fountain for the cat because this one broke, a water fountain. And like I brought the lock, but I normally, if I'm going to the park, I don't need the lock. I'll just like hang out, you know?
Yeah. It made me want to
So
get a bike.
it's super customizable. It's really fun. I really enjoy it. And I had it, the guy that made it for me, his name is Mario. And he would probably say Mario, you know, but like I call him Mario. And the person who recommended him, this person, Shannon, you know, Shannon Kittner. She's like friends with Phoebe and Rico.
No.
I did an improv class with her anyway. She was living at his place, and she was like, oh yeah, this guy whose place like we're crashing at because he's out of town. He builds bikes for people, and I was like, he made one for me for $125, and it's kind of Frankenstein-y. I was just like, I don't care what you use on it as long as it works. So it has this cool like kind of punky look to it, you know.
I love that.
Yeah,
It's like pink.
yeah, it's like bubblegum pink.
Perfect.
But
Where do you store it?
In the hallway,
Just like next to your door?
next to the emergency door at the top of the stairs.
It's easy to get up and down.
Yeah, because it's so light. So my old bike, I didn't want to bring because it was so heavy. And I wasn't sure where I'd put it.
Yeah.
This one, I just slam it in there. I got a cute little bell for it. That's a nice color. It just it
My last bike was a fold-up bike. It was like a white fold-up bike. And
I never saw you use that.
I used to take it around Williamsburg a little bit. I never took it like on the ferry or anything.
Right.
Because I always liked skateboarding more, electric skateboarding.
Yeah, most of your modes of transport are like electronic in some way.
Yeah.
Lately.
Well, one way that I don't have anymore. But
it broke entirely?
Yeah, I mean, it was always kind of getting fucked up.
It's expensive technology. I
Yeah.
don't blame you for.
And the company failed. So the company.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they went out of business. So I can't even send it back to them. So it's obsolete tech. It's all garbage now.
Yeah.
All of it.
Did
Unless somebody like figure out a way to like, you know,
reverse engineer it.
Yeah, it's a lot. But I couldn't do that.
Did you throw it out?
No, I still have it because I don't. You know, it's electronics, so I need to like do it in a respectable.
There's like
way.
e-waste facilities. You got to sort of bring it to and whatever.
Also like some of it might be salvageable. Like there's wheels that are not like electric wheels that I could probably put on something eventually, like a longboard or something. I don't know. I keep too much. This is what this whole project is about. I have to get rid of a bunch of shit like this. You know how fucking mad Grandma is gonna be?
Yeah. Hey, Grandma needs something to hump. Wasn't that dog a boy?
No.
Oh, okay.
She had her belly shaved because she was spayed.
She was young, dumb, and full
of no longer.
Yeah.
She's no longer full of eggs.
She's still young.
Does that work? I don't even know.
Yeah, dogs are usually. I think they're full of eggs too. They get their periods unless they're neutered.
Wild stuff.
Yeah.
Animals.
Cats too.
All right. Well, I'm going to continue this little thing here, and then we'll continue. We'll try to do that thing that we set out to do.
We'll see. Yeah, and if you want to take that test, the implicit bias test,
Yeah,
it's interesting
I'm pumped.
because I think we all have these weird biases that we're not responsible for having them, but we're responsible for trying to like break them. Because they're put on you by society, you know.
Right, and that's the thing.
And also who you are. I mean, I think human beings tend to gravitate towards, you know, likes. You know, like you just sort of like if you see someone similar to you, just gravitate towards them, you know.
Well, the other thing is you want people to agree with you because it just feels better. It feels good when people agree with you. So you find people who agree with you. You seek that out. And then the other thing that like on the internet, like if you say something that like, you know, if you type something that gets someone mad, you can't see their reaction.
It's terrible.
You might type it, but then you're mad at them for typing that. Whereas if you're with someone face to face, like a family member, and you say something,
you can adjust tone, or you can learn things from someone's tone.
Or you'd be like, oh, they didn't like that I said that.
I also will recommend some reading. I don't know if you're going to read it, Case. I know, but it's a blog at least. So it's like, it's a little cerebral, but it's by this guy named Scott Alexander. I just heard about him. He runs a blog called Slate Star Codex, which is an anagram of his name. It's a pseudonymous name, and he's a psychiatrist from San Francisco. And I only heard about him because he did an interview with the New York Times, and his whole thing is he wants to remain anonymous because he has patience. And like the things he writes about are pretty like revealing about himself and like his thoughts. And he tries to keep that separate from his patients. And the New York Times was like going to dox him. They were going to print his full name. And he asked them not to. And they were like, well, that's our policy, even though that's not necessarily their policy. They've kept people anonymous in the past.
Wow.
So it's kind of fucked up.
That's so fucked up.
His writing style, he's liberal, but he's like a rationalist too. So it's very much like a zoom out of like looking at us as a society and like all these like biases that we have, whether you want to or not. And it's really fascinating. He deleted the whole blog because of the New York Times thing, but it's available in archives and you can find it if you search. And there's like a top 10 list that I'm kind of working my way through. And it's just good brain food. It's just a good way to like, kind of like just reset yourself about how you look at things and how we react to things, you know?
Yeah. I love that. Send that to me.
I will, yeah. So it's cool. Some of it's more long form than others, but it's very fascinating, I think.
The thing I've been reading is my brother's book.
Oh yeah, I want to get a copy.
I know, yeah. I could probably send you one, but yeah. Isn't that fun?
Is it good?
Oh,
Are you in it? Are you in it?
Yeah, of course.
Great.
It's incredible.
You mentioned that you told him the Dick story, or you and him told Scarlett the Dick story.
Yeah, we told Scarlett the Dick story, that you sending my dad a dick, and then he was with friends. And it came in, and he misunderstood, and then he said to like, my brother misunderstood that my dad had texted him, and he was like, I think he was with other SNL people, and was just like, my brother's friend sent my dad a dick pic, and they were all like, what? So they all assumed that you had mistexted.
I didn't know that.
They thought that you had mistexted my dad instead of like a girl. Your dick. Man.
That's funny. I didn't know that part of it.
Beautiful, huh?
That's wonderful.
All right. Love you, brother. We'll talk before you leave, but so fun. Exciting journey.
Yeah. I'll see you from the road. Love you, bud.
Stay real.
Bye.